Hey guys, a couple of days ago I had the viral tweet. It was actually very funny to me when it happened because I was like, what did I say? What have I said now? What have I said? Because, my Twitter account is known for controversy. I tend to say things that are kind of just out of the box, like people stay in the black and the white, and I usually tend to function in the gray. And a lot of people don't understand that, so I'm heavily misunderstood, and there's a lot of controversy around my tweets usually. I don't mind it. It's okay. There has to be somebody like me. Otherwise, life is just boring. But anyway, when this tweet went viral, I was getting a lot of notifications, and even till today, I'm still having family and friends sending me links from blogs. They're like, is this not you? Is this not you? I'm like, look, I said this thing like 2 days ago or something. I don't even know what's going on. People are just carrying it here, left, right, and center. But what did I gain? What did I learn from that? Now let's start with the tweet. So what I had said was somebody had said something about a good woman in the usual connotation of what Nigerian men consider a good woman, the usual yardsticks and criteria. And I had said, I was just so tired because you see it every other day, and I'm just like, please, these people. And I was just like, you know what? It's so easy to deceive Nigerian men. Once a woman is ready to marry, all she has to do is, do this, do that, dress well, don't show cleavage, don't wear a lot of makeup, don't blah 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 blah, don't talk. I just listed some things that Nigerian men are known to glorify as the yardsticks for a good woman. And I'm like, it's very easy to deceive you guys because once a woman does this, you're going to be like, she's such a good woman, and then you wipe her up, and after that, you start seeing the real person underneath, and then you like, oof, I didn't know you were like this. You've changed. She hasn't changed. She packaged herself to be who you want, so who you consider to be a good woman, because that's how superficial you guys are. And that's what I was basically saying. And a lot of people were talking, and the quotes, and I didn't even see most of the quotes, honestly. I just saw the numbers because I didn't check. I know that I have the inability to experience bullshit and leave it unchallenged. So if I don't want to get into it, or I just don't want to go into any hassle with anybody, I rather not see, because if I see, I will speak. And so I didn't check the quotes. I only responded to the people that I got their notifications, because on Twitter my setting is, if I'm not following you or we're not mutuals, I really won't see what you're saying except somebody retweets it to me. So I only saw the messages from those who I follow or follow me. And from their stance, I could tell they're already misunderstood, and which is the problem I have. When I speak, I consider that I'm speaking plain English. I consider that I'm speaking in the simplest of terms. And so when I'm misunderstood, I honestly don't get it. I'm like, I don't understand. Is it that the IQ level on Twitter is just that low, or am I speaking in complex terms? You tend to say A and people read Z. So I had to add an addendum to that tweet, and that's the only thing that I'm grateful about in all of these blogs carrying the tweet, because Kenya, Ghana, I'm like, what is going on? I was specifically talking about Nigerian men, but it's fine. If it's newsworthy to them, it's newsworthy to them. I'm just glad that they didn't take me out of context and they put my words exactly as I said it. So I added that addendum, and I'm glad they also carried the addendum along. So every blog I've seen that has carried that, they also carried the addendum. It was a separate tweet, but they put it together. I'm like, good, because I had to add that listen, I know I listed all of this criteria, but I don't consider this the markings of a good woman, because somebody was already saying, so that this is blah blah blah, a good woman will do this, a good man. I'm like, I'm saying the opposite. I'm saying that you consider this the markings of a good woman when it's not necessarily what determines a good woman. Every time we hear Nigerian men talk about, oh, she wakes up early to cook, oh, she's submissive, oh, she doesn't ask men for money, she doesn't wear makeup, she covers up, they list all of these superficial things as what they consider to be a good woman. And it's okay to have your preferences. It's fine if you say, look, my preference is a woman that I'm sorry, my preference is a woman that wakes up early to cook. I want a housekeeper, a homely woman, not a career woman. I don't want a feminist. I don't want a career based. I want somebody who doesn't ask men for money, someone who dresses modest, isn't a slay queen or a baddie. That's your preference, and that is fine. I need you to hear me say that again. That is fine. I'm not here to challenge anybody's preference or argue with people that, why don't you like this, why don't you like that. Like what you like. I honestly do not care. Where I would draw the line, or where I would chip in, or where I would argue, is when you say this is a good woman, meaning anybody that does not conform to that is not a good woman. So if I don't wake up early to cook, I'm a bad woman. If I like to wear makeup, I'm a bad woman. If I like to dress a certain way, automatically I'm a bad woman. Oh, the skirt is above her knee, she's definitely a bad woman. Oh, she asked the man for money, oof, bad woman. She doesn't believe in cooking, she's a feminist, bad woman. That is where I have That's where my problem stems from. If you categorize a certain superficial thing as a good woman, then you're automatically putting everybody that does not fit into that under the spectrum of a bad woman, and I don't agree with that. I don't like to cook, doesn't make me a bad woman in any way. I'm a feminist, doesn't make me a bad woman. I am simply not what you prefer. So when you understand that your preference does not necessarily mean the person is good, but that is your preference, then we're talking a different language. So you know that your preference is a woman that cooks, you know your preference is a woman that covers up, you know your preference is a woman that doesn't wear makeup, she doesn't wear wigs, she doesn't, she doesn't do all of those things. That's your preference. But that does not mean she's good. She could be the demon from hell with all of those qualities. So when you know that you need to go beyond that, when you know that this is the superficial thing that will make me consider, okay, she has these qualities, now let me consider, does she have a good heart? Is she kind to people? Is she respectful? Does she have the good of others in mind? Is she selfish? When you go further, then you can say, she has the qualities I like, she has my preferences, and she's also a good woman. She's also kind, she's also thoughtful, she's also sensitive, she also has emotional intelligence, she also loves to help people, she's ambitious, she's a good woman. Then I agree with you, because have whatever preference you want, but preferences very different from what makes a person a good person. And that's what I was trying to say with that tweet, that it's so easy to deceive Nigerian men. The gullibility is really amazing. And I'm not generalizing here, because I know there are a few men who are intelligent enough to know that, you know what, the fact that she's covering her body from head to toe does not mean she's decent. She literally could be the biggest H and still cover up, and you will have no idea. I've lived in the north, so I know that for a fact. And you know how it works, like you completely get soaked in, you fall in love, perhaps get married, and the pretense can go on for a very long time. People are surprised. You're like, so I got a lot of people saying, how long can she pretend? How long can she? You underestimate the evil of people's heart. You underestimate how far people would go to keep what they consider theirs, because this sort of thing, like it's now a challenge. Like, I want her, I'm going to get her, and they do what they need to do. Same for women. I want him, I'm going to get him. She is cooking, no problem. Wife material, all of that, and they can keep that up. I know somebody who was married, for the marriage lasted about a year and some months, and she never cooked once in her husband's house. She never cooked once. As a matter of fact, she didn't like to cook, but he never knew. Their marriage crashed for something else that was his fault. He never knew, not for a single day, that the food he was eating and like, my wife this, my wife that, she did not cook a day. And when I talk about gullibility, people think I don't know what I'm saying. Men are very gullible. That's a fact. A few of them are very perceptive, but men are made to, they're made to be easily carried along by what they see. They're visual beings, which is why they can fall for a woman's body and ignore character, because they're visual beings. And be that as it may, she was married for like 13, 14 months and did not cook a single day. She would literally, and he was paying for it, because the caterer that was delivering food to her, it was his money, it wasn't even hers, and she would package it, the dining table, everything. So it shows you a lot. He never was in the kitchen with her trying to help. He never was there when she was cooking. He never tried to help around in the house. So of course he never knew, but he would just come home as a king that he is, and table is set. What do we have for dinner today? But she never cooked, and she was really, so in that marriage crash, and she was telling me all of this, I was just really like wow. That goes to show. That goes to show that a person can pretend for as long as they need to. So if you're saying, how long can she pretend? Long enough for you to have wasted a lot of your time. So if you think, it's not just to divorce her, well, fine. A lot of women these days don't really care about divorce. They just want to get married once, so that nobody can say, nobody has married her. Nobody wants her. Haven't you noticed that a lot of women that have married and have gotten divorced are not really interested in trying again? They're not really running after. They don't have the pressure anymore for marriage, because they've done it once, and that's really what the society has put a lot of pressure on women, that now they just want to do it to get rid of that societal pressure. And once they've done it, however it ends, they don't really care. Especially if they have kids, they're not looking to try again. They just move on with their lives. Have you not noticed? No, look at the statistics in society. If you think I'm joking, a lot of women that are divorced, and a lot of them walked out of the marriage. It wasn't the men that left, because men would rather stay and be treating you however, as long as you're there. But the women are like, no, I can't deal with this, and they leave. A lot of the divorces, women are leaving these days, and they're not even hustling another husband. They don't care. They were trying to marry so that society will not be looking at them. What must be wrong with her? All of her achievements, nobody has married her. That judgmental thing people do for the women that let it get to them. They want to marry to get rid of that, and after that they don't really care, so they will pretend 1 year, 2 years, maybe three, so they can have a child in wedlock, and you cannot shame them for that because they had it in wedlock. And after that, if you like, let it crash, they're fine. You see young girls 35, they're divorced, they have a kid, and they don't care about it. They're fine because nobody can shame them. They married, they had a child, it didn't work out, oops. And usually this one will pretend to be what you want, and then maybe in that marriage you're the one even seeing the shaggy, but they can paint you as the bad person. Very easy. So this is the gullibility I'm talking about. I'm not saying that if a woman is cooking or she's cleaning or she's doing all of those things I talked about, doesn't wear makeup, I'm not saying she's not good. She can be good. Two truths can exist. She can be good and have all of those qualities, but it is not those qualities that make her good. It is entirely her soul. It is her heart. It is the state of her mind. That is what makes her good. It is not the outlook. It is not also the state of her heart that translates into that outlook. It's not possible. You can see somebody who, even a stripper, you can see a stripper who is a very good person. You say, how can she be doing that kind of job? She's a bad person. Doesn't mean you don't know the circumstances of people. She could be a stripper and have a purer heart than somebody who is leading Bible study and dressing covered from head to toe. That is the superficiality that I need people to get rid of. You just automatically see her now and judge her. You go to church and see somebody covered, singing, worship, speaking in tongues. Automatically, you think that's a good person. That person could be a vile person in their heart, could be a viper. And then you marry that person off of this superficial thing, and then you start seeing the wickedness and the evil in them. They are beating their house helps. They're completely thoughtless. They're selfless, and you're selfish, and you're wondering. That's because you judge because the person has an outlook. People wear the mask that they think they need to go through life. Some of us don't care and will present ourselves how we are. There are people who will judge me for having the nose ring and be like, she must be a terrible person. I really don't care. I really don't care because I know the state of my heart. I know the state of my soul. So I really don't care. But the people who care and want people to see them a certain way would conform. And then you think that's a good person. And then you're easily deceived. And they can carry that pretense for as long as they need to achieve what they need to achieve. And after you said, I do, whatever happens after you said, I do, it really isn't their business. If that was the goal, to say, I do, they've gotten you there. Whose time has been wasted? They've achieved their goal, no? Whose time has been wasted? Who has been deceived? So when you go about judging people off of the cover of the book without looking into the contents, what you see, you take. That's all I have to say.